Thank you very much, Judge. Good evening. I'm Sheriff James Gannon, the Sheriff of Morris County. Thank you for the invitation to brief the public and to brief the Freeholder Board on my duties as in providing security to the courthouse complex here in Morris County. I've said many times in the past that my #1 responsibility as the Morris County Sheriff is to ensure that people come into the courthouse without fear or intimidation to bring their case before the court. Simplest terms, right, of the responsibilities of the sheriff, and we do a good job at that here. I'd like to refer to the slide just so we're oriented appropriately on the courthouse complex there. As you look at the top there, you see the 1827 building, the historic courthouse. You know, the historic courthouse, the architect was Sheriff Joseph Lindsley. He was actually the sheriff of Morris County, and they moved from the Morristown Green into that building. I think bought the property at a reasonable price, obviously at the time. I think from the Wood family, about $200 for the property, right, in 1827, and developed this courthouse, as the judge said, 1827. Then you have the sheriff's house in 1888, which we're still using today. But you can also see the 1931 addition, which is on Ann Street. You can see the 1955 addition, which is on Western Avenue. The 1970 addition, which is on Ann and Western. The 1970 bridge on Court Street, and then 85 Schuyler Building was expanded, and in 89 the County Administration Building on Court Street. Next slide, please. About 600,000 people visit the courthouse complex each year. We screen people that come into the facility. My Protective Services Division provides that to anyone that comes through. We've taken about 170 prohibited items off of people last year in 2018. These items are inclusive of some large knives, pepper spray, scissors, throwing stars, lock pick sets, and even handcuff keys. So, you know, things have changed, right? We all know that in the world, things have changed. We have a top-notch security program, but that's what we deal with in these environments. Next. I'd like to, break this down into 4 different categories. #1 is security challenges. There's an increased threat picture. Okay, we all know that. We are not that far away from things that have been happening, whether it was in Elizabeth or things happening in New York City. We're just not that far away from things that have happened. We're in more emotionally charged environments here. There's limited setbacks, right? The bottom line is we park on Western Avenue, we park on Ann Street, we park on Court Street. There's limited setbacks, and the reason for that is in 1827 there was no cars. Right? So the design of the building, I think, is brilliant. Judge Minkowitz and all of us share that thought about this historic courthouse. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. But with security as it is today, we need better than that. It's challenging, as the judge said, keeping litigants apart, witnesses, victims, defendants. We manage threats against the judges that occur here in this county. We deal a lot of times, as the judge said, in these emotionally charged environments, domestic violence, sexual assault survivors, sometimes children that are in the facility. They're in these facilities and they're mingling with people, maybe offenders and things like that. So it's hard to keep people apart. We do our best with regards to that, but it is difficult. As the judge said, we're on the National Historic Register. So there are restrictions due to that. We have difficult navigation and wayfinding for seniors, the public, attorneys, people unfamiliar with the courthouse complex, whether handicapped or not handicapped. The pitch of the steps is very difficult. Obviously ADA compliance is a problem with regards to that. I have spent time myself individually and some of my staff walking the facility in wheelchairs. And ambulating, trying to traverse the environment in a wheelchair and it's impossible in certain locations, and it's my belief that people have a right to do that, to present their cases before the court. Oftentimes we assist people. You know, my officers in the Protective Services Division assist people in going through the courthouse. They're truly ambassadors of that courthouse complex. However, when the fire alarm goes, and the Morristown Fire Department, the police department's responding, and my officers are responding, it's hard to get people out. There are certain areas where they're very difficult to get people out in a quick fashion. You know, and the construction of the building obviously is very old and things like that, and so that becomes problematic also. Safety challenges, lack of fire suppression system. There's no fire suppression system. It's an old building. Okay, it's problematic in getting people out, and it's a concern of mine. I think you know, I have people and some officers here. I think when that fire alarm goes off in that building, it's all hands on deck to make certain that we get everybody out, and we do that. You know, we do that very quickly, but it's a big place, a lot of people, and people need assistance. You know, I stand by the entrance to the courthouse and watch people come in, and then when they look at the steps going up, they say, is there any other way to get here? You know, it's a hard pitch. People are upset that they're there. They're scared that they're there sometimes, and those types of things. So those are the types of things. You know, getting people in the facility, we can do it as ambassadors and good people, right? We can get people in. But when you have rapid evacuation, that's the problem, rapid evacuation. You know, in all times, you know, prisoners in the hallway, right? We don't have a special place for prisoners to be out. So I just wanted to thank you all for your time here today to go over this. I think it's really important. And finally, it's my honor to introduce our Law and Public Safety Director, Scott DiGirolamo, who's going to speak about life safety. Thank you very much for your time.
Morristown.